Two whores on their way down from Portland to take us deep-sea fishing on a boat. It made it tough to stay in bed until the dorm lights came on at 6:30. I was the first one up at the dorm to look at the list posted on the board next to the nurse's station. Check to see if my name was really signed there. Sign up for deep-sea fishing was printed in big letters at the top. Then McMurphy had signed, and Billy Bibbett was number 1. Right after McMurphy. Number 3 was Harding, and number 4 was Fredrickson. And all the way down to number 10, where nobody had signed yet, my name was there. The last put down, across from number 9. I was actually going out of the hospital with 2 whores on a fishing boat. I had to keep saying it over and over to myself to believe it. The 3 black guys slipped up in front of me to read the list with their gray fingers. Found my name there and turned to grin at me. Why, who'd you suppose signed Chief Bromden up for this foolishness? Ineas ain't able to write. What makes you think Ineas ain't able to read? The starch was fresh and still enough from the early morning that their arms rustled in their white suits when they moved, like paper wings. I acted deaf to them laughing at me. Like I didn't even know. But when they stuck a broom out for me to do their work up in the hall, I turned around and walked back toward the dorm, telling myself, the hell with that. A man going fishing with 2 whores from Portland don't have to take crap like that. It scared me some, walking off from them like that, because I never went against what the black boys ordered me before. Looked back and saw them coming after me with the broom. They'd probably have come right on the dorm to got me, but for McMurphy. He was there making such a fuss, roaring up and down between the beds, snapping a towel at the guys signed to go this morning. But the black boys decided maybe the dorm wasn't such safe territory to venture into for no more than somebody to sweep a little dab of the hallway. McMurphy had his motorcycle cap pulled way forward on his red hair to look like a boat captain, and the tattoos showing out of his sleeve of his t-shirt were done in Singapore. He was swaggering around the floor like it was a deck of a ship, whistling in his hand a buzzin's whistle. Hit the deck, mateys, hit the deck, or I'll kihaw all of ye from stock to stern. He ran from bedstand to Harding's bed with his knuckles. 6 spells and y'all well. Steady as he goes, hit the deck, drop your cocks and grab your socks. He noticed me standing just inside the doorway and came rushing out to thump my back like a drum. Look here at Big Chief. Here's an example of a good sailor and a fisherman. Up before day and out digging redworms for bait. The rest of you scurvy bunch of old lubbers do well to follow his lead. Hit the deck. Today's the day. at a sack and into the sea. The acutes grumbled and gripped at him and his towel, and the chronics woke up to look around with heads blue from lack of blood cut off by sheets tied too tight across the chest, looking around at the dorm until they centered on me with weak and watered old looks, faces wistful and curious. They lay there watching me pull on warm clothes for the trip, making me feel uneasy and a little guilty. They could sense I had been singled out as the only chronic making the trip. They watched me, old guys welded in wheelchairs for years, and the Catharines down to their legs, like vines rooting them for the rest of their lives right where they are. They watched me and knew intensively where I was going. And they could still be a little jealous if it wasn't them. They know because enough of the man in them had been damped out at the old instincts that had been taken over. Old chronics wake up sudden some nights before anyone else knows a guy died in the dorm, and throw back their heads and howl. And they could be jealous because there was enough man left to still remember. McMurphy went out and looked at the list and came back and tried to talk one more acute into signing. Going back of the line and kicking at the beds still had the guys in them, with sheets pulled over their heads telling them what a great thing it would be out there, Teeth of Gale and He-Man Sea Kraken and the old golden Yee-Heave-Yo-Ho and the bottle of rum. Come on, loafers, I need one more mate to round the crew. I need one more good goddamn volunteer. But he couldn't talk anybody into it. The big nurse had the rest scared of stories of how rough it had been lately and how many boats sunk. It didn't look like we'd get the last crew member until half an hour later when George Sorensen came up to McMurphy in the breakfast line where we were waiting in the mess hall to be unlocked for breakfast. Big toothless naughty Swede, the black boys called Rub-a-Dub, George, because of his thing with sanitation, came shuffling up in the hall, listening well back to his feet at the front of his head. Stopped in front of McMurphy and mumbled something in his hand. George was very shy. You couldn't see his eyes because they were so deep under his brow that he cupped his big palm around most of the rest of his face. His head swayed like a crow's nest at the top of a mastless spine. He mumbled in his hand till McMurphy finally reached up and pulled the hand away so that the words could get out.